Peacock bass are basically what happens if Mother Nature comes up with a fish that has main character syndrome. They have that cool colors, predatory vibe, the aura, and when you see the fish at the store, it looks harmless enough to make you think, yeah, I can handle this fish, until you realize that this fish turns into underwater missile. Welcome to Taj Mahal Aquatics, and I'm gonna expose the reality of keeping peacock bass. Because trust me, nobody told you these things about peacock bass when you first buy them. The fish store only show you a cool and innocent looking fish, but not the part where these fish becomes a literal river monster in your tank. But before we start, a quick question. What do you think is the biggest issue with peacock bass? Their size, aggression, feeding, or the fact that they may ruin your monster fish addiction? Comment below. This fish might be a red flag after you watch this video. This one is classic beginner's trap. You walk into the store, see this tiny, colorful peacock bass swimming around, and you suddenly goes, "Oh, look at him. I think he'll be perfect for my tank." Well, that's a big mistake. That awesome cute little fish will eventually become Giga Chat with vacuum cleaner mouth. These fish don't just get big, they get river monster huge. Some species, like Temensis, can reach up to 3 feet long. And you know what happens? Your aquarium no longer looks like an aquarium, but a temporary containment. And you know what's the funniest part? This fish still acts like it owns the place. You know your peacock bass get too big when your aquarium looks more like a tiger in a cage. And trust me, the size is not even the craziest part, but it's also about the growth. If their size already surprises you, wait till you see how fast they grow. Peacock bass grow at a speed that genuinely feels like shocking for a fish growth. You may get them at 3 inches, and then the next month, you wake up with a fish that looks like skip some character development arcs overnight. And under good condition, they grow way faster. Your tank slowly feels smaller, your filtration starts to cry for help, and your wallet enters recession. And your other fish, they might update their wills. Many monster fish keepers often talks about their future plan with peacock bass, because if you don't prepare enough, these fish upgrades faster than you do. One moment you enjoy the aquarium, and next, you research for the price of a 1,000-gallon tank at 3 a.m. while you also questioning your life decisions. But size and growth are still way more manageable than this next thing, as this is where peacock bass are pure chaos. If you keep peacock bass without a secure lid in your tank, you are basically gambling. These fish are not just a normal jumpers, they are literal missiles. And the scariest part, sometimes it literally looks like nothing happened. Maybe a shadow moved, maybe they got startled, or they believe they can fly. And suddenly, boom! Chaos rumbles in your aquarium. Water everywhere, fish flying. Your heart stops for a moment, and your family think somebody fell off from the ceiling. And with just one tiny gap in your lid, that's everything they need. And that's why pro monster fish keepers are obsessed with lids for their peacock bass. Because without one, congratulations, you just make Michelin star ikan asin. But somehow, that is still not the most dangerous part, because the most dangerous one takes you mentally. This is where the hobby became an issue. You buy one at first, and then you suddenly binge watching monster fish videos at 3 a.m. while calculating the floor weight limits like Bob the Builder. And before you realize it, your YouTube recommendations full of monster fish videos, predatory community tanks video. And now you go, I think I need more peacock bass, and also a bigger tank. But no, you don't. But the peacock bass sensation has infected you mentally. This fish doesn't just take over your aquarium, but your entire personality too. That's because these fish are so fascinating, especially when you realize how smart they are. Many people think that peacock bass are just aggressive muscle fish. But no, they are smart in a tactical way. In the wild, they are cooperative hunters. They actually work together to herd bait fish into shallow areas before they attack, which means these fish don't just chase blindly. They strategize, coordinate, and learn. And some can even recognize feeding patterns, lure movements, and routines. Their eyesight are extremely good. And unlike the Oscar that feels more like water puppies, peacock bass are underwater assassin. Their intelligence are the reason why they are terrifyingly unpredictable. This part is something that nobody warns about. Some peacock bass may just ignore their tank mates for months or even years, and so you think, wow, this fish is actually a chill guy. And then, in a random day, your aquarium becomes a real crime scene. Peacock bass aggression is weirdly unpredictable. Sometimes it's territorial, sometimes they're aggressive when feeding, and sometimes they randomly wake up and decide, I hate everybody here. And if the tank mate suddenly fits inside their mouth, congratulations! The friendship pass is expired. This unpredictability is exactly why some monster fish keepers have trust issue with peacock bass. And in feeding time, it gets worse. Peacock bass don't eat peacefully. They attack their food aggressively and explosively, with zero respect for personal space. Every feeding time feels like Black Friday flash sale. And in monster tanks, they often dominate weaker or slower fish completely. And your datnoids will go, hey bro, can I have some food? And your peacock bass will go, no! Better luck next time. And because of their aggressive eating habits, they can easily stress slower fish when feeding time. But here's the funny part. Despite looking like underwater thugs, they can be surprisingly picky. Despite eating like monsters, some peacock bass refuses food for the dumbest reason ever. Not because they didn't like it, but because it doesn't move properly. You may offer pellets, frozen shrimp, expensive seafood, and the fish just stares at you like, I'm asking for prey, not trash. And some eventually convert to prepared food, while others continue act like food critics for the rest of their life. Some monster fish keepers know this pain very well, especially if the fish suddenly decides you know what, I don't want to eat anymore. But even with all their aggression, chaos, and appetite, they are surprisingly sensitive fish. And honestly, this part shocks a lot of people. Here's what many people didn't understand. Peacock bass don't actually enjoy chaotic environment. Despite being the source of chaos itself, wrong tank mate makes them nervous, skittish, stressed, and pale. Meanwhile, calmer tank mates often make them more comfortable and confident. And keeping peacock bass isn't just about can this fish survive with them, but also will this fish ruin the atmosphere? Because stress changes everything with peacock bass. Their behavior, confidence, aggression, and also their looks. Have you ever seen your peacock bass look dull? Here's why. Their color can change depending on stress, mood, environment, lighting, and even social hierarchy. With good setup, the fish glows up. With bad setup, they lose their aura. One day, they look like an awesome Amazonian apex predator, and the next day, they are emotionally damaged.
Emotional damage!
And this is also what happens if you pair them with the wrong roommates. It changes everything with them, even their looks. And that's the reality of keeping peacock bass. They are not just big, aggressive fish, but also quite fascinating at the same time. They are smart, chaotic, and quite addictive too, and sometimes emotionally unstable river monsters. Keeping them isn't about controlling them, but also understanding them. And that's why many fish keepers are obsessed with these fish. And that wraps up this video, and now I want to know your opinion. Would you give peacock bass a shot after hearing this, or would you just rather stick with Oscar? Comment below and give this video a thumbs up if you like this video, and share this video to your friends before they get a river monster by accident. Subscribe for more fun or helpful fish keeping content, as there are more you don't want to miss here. Thanks for watching my aquatic friends, and have a wonderful aquatic life. See you next time.